Hello and welcome to Deep Cuts the Game, the movie trivia podcast with great movies and great guests. Every week I bring on three interesting people from the world of entertainment, give them three movies, and challenge them to pull out the most obscure actors they can. The deeper the cut, the more points they earn. I'm your host, Jeff Penn, and with me as always, a man who, if he was a Canadian TV show, he would be Neon Rider. Alex Young, welcome to the show. Look at the look on his face, like he doesn't know what Neon Rider. Oh, fuck you. You don't know what Neon Rider.
Rob
Did they make a reboot?
I mean, I can't think of anyone actually that was in Neon Rider that I could give you as a reference, but as a kid of the 80s and 90s watching Canadian TV, you watched a lot of Neon Rider because that was your option. It was that or Danger Bay.
Well, maybe I'll go back to it, Jeff. I'll dig it up on streaming and binge the whole show.
I wish there was a crossover between Danger Bay and the Beachcombers. Just something where
hot tubs?
The hot tubs,
man.
Oh my god, you're Canadian. You should know what the Beachcombers is.
Yeah, but I'm half your age.
You're not young anymore, my friend.
8 years younger than you.
What's going on?
Not much, Jeff. I'm excited about today's show. I'm excited for our guest. Also, Darren is back.
Darren is back. Darren, yesterday when I texted him to say, "Hey, you're still good for tomorrow?" He's like, "Yeah, but I didn't tell you what movies I want to do." And I was like, Darren, that's not an option anymore. Like, you've been on the show 4 or 5 times. You don't get to dictate what the movies are. You just get thrown into it and hope for the best.
Why don't we bring him in?
Yeah, I don't know. His mic's muted, so we can't even hear his cackling giggle right now.
Because I didn't want to interfere with this delightful banter. I never got to pick a movie. I just made suggestions. And that always seemed to put me in the ballpark. At this point, I have no idea what you're throwing at us. I have no idea.
That's good. But that's all right, Darren. Baby. These movies are pretty old, so I'm sure you'll be fine. Well, let's bring in our other guest. He was recommended to us by our frequent guest and, I don't know, world champion Craig Smeaton. So we've got a good feeling about this guy. Our guest today is a comedy writer whose career has taken him from Canadian cult favorites like Corner Gas to U.S. network sitcoms like Two Broke Girls. But his resume goes way deeper than that. He's worked on series like Package Deal and alongside comedy legends, Canadian comedy legends, but also a comedy legend, I think at this point, Mark McKinney. Basically, if there's a version of TV comedy, single cam, multicam, Canadian, American, studio audience, or stand-up adjacent, he's probably written for it. So today, we're getting into the reality of life as in a writer's room. How come comedies change depending on where you are? Please welcome Rob Sheridan. Rob, thanks for being here.
Hello. I've been on camera the whole time.
You have been. So don't.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm very glad to be here.
You're West Coast right now, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I am. I am in Los Angeles, where we have had a flash shower this afternoon, and the sun is now back out.
Okay. I think we hit like 21 degrees here today in Toronto, so we'll take it.
Oh, did you? Yeah, it's been extremely warm since Christmas. Usually you get a kind of an extended winter. I mean, I lived in Toronto till I was 40, so I've spent still more time in Canada than here. And you get used to a certain kind of fall-like winter that happens between January and say the end of March. And when we didn't really get that this year, it was like a couple of weeks ago, it was like 100 degrees. So, I don't know. It's almost like the planet, something's happening to the climate. I'm not sure what it is. But anyway, yes, happy to be here from sunny Los Angeles. 3 hours behind you.
Yeah, don't worry, it doesn't get any better. We're in the future.
3 hours from now, it's not going to get better. 3 hours from now,
still pretty shitty. So
okay, good to know. Good to know.
Yeah. So I know it's a very basic question, but was comedy always kind of the direction you wanted to go when you got into TV, or were you looking for something else when you started out?
More or less. I mean, I went to film school I went through the film program at York University back in the 90s, and then kind of didn't do any writing at all for a few years. A couple of different career paths, but I wound up at the Canadian Film Center in the early 2000s and went through a TV writing program there. And yeah, we were the sort of project we were kind of workshopping, as we learned, was a sitcom. And I had gotten in there with a couple of I guess I must have had some interest in it because I had a couple of desk drawer sort of specs that I used to get into the CFC. One was a Frasier. The other was a Just Shoot Me. Remember Just Shoot Me?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And anyway, I guess the shorter answer is yes. Always comedy. I wish I honestly, knowing as siloed as these things get, because it's very difficult to kind of cross over from the 1 hour world into the half-hour world and vice versa. I sometimes wonder if I didn't make an enormous mistake there. Only because they've never stopped making drama. Never goes away, but comedy kind of, it comes and goes, and it has its, the sitcom's dead, it's kind of alive again, it's, so yeah, there are times when I just wish I'd just gone into 1 hour and been a wealthier man, but you can't have everything.
Yeah, no, it seems like kind of, yeah, like the sitcom isn't dead necessarily, but it's definitely become something very different than what, I'll say the three of us, not including Alex, grew up watching, right? Like, the live
both in
studio
terms
tape audience.
Yeah, well, both in terms of format and also just in terms of volume, the headline I saw on Deadline on Friday was CBS picks up one of its 2 comedy pilots. That is a horror show of a headline. I mean, back when I got here, and this is not going back that far, it was like 2010, 2011, networks were still shooting, I'm talking about, developing many more, but certainly shooting 7 or 8 comedy pilots. Usually, they might have been in that time, maybe half and half, multi and single, or maybe slightly more single than multi, but multi was still going. But every network, there was a time when I would read every pilot. I can't believe I was ever that ambitious, but there was a time when I would read every pilot every spring that had been bought and that was getting made, not the ones that have been developed. But and I was reading just the comedies, and I was reading 35, 40 scripts. And CBS, any given one of those years, would have had 7 or 8 comedies in contention and maybe 3 or 4 spots. CBS picks up 1 of 2 comedy pilots. What more do you need to know? I mean, nobody's watching network television anymore, and there's a whole bunch of obviously we know why these things have happened. But it is a bummer because I do still think that there's a spot for kind of people sitting down and watching a sitcom together. I know there is, because they're still doing it. It's just that a lot of the time they're watching old ones on
Netflix,
on Netflix
or Disney or whatever.
So,
yeah. That's what we do. That's our dinner time watch is not old, but like ABC comedies, right? Whether it's like Modern Family or Life in Pieces or The Middle or something like that. Just easy kind of family watching, right?
Yeah. I thought for a second when you said ABC, I thought you were going to give me the TGIF lineup from like the late 80s or
Family Matters, Step by Step.
We like to watch Family Matters, Full House, just the 10 of us.
Oh, just the 10 of us. That's a reference for
there's a deep cut
for 9 people. Like not even the 10 people in that show.
Those are my kinds of references. Yeah.
So you've worked on a lot of Canadian TV shows, Corner Gas being one of the bigger ones, but you've also done stuff in the US. Is there a difference between writing, we've talked to different people about the difference between Canadian and US humor. Is there a difference when you're writing for something that's going to be pretty much exclusively for that market?
Not really. I mean, certainly when we were doing Corner Gas, the feeling was that it should be as much like any other show, certainly American show, as possible. I mean, we were trying to make the show American, but we weren't distinguishing between Canadian comedy or US comedy. And I think the show, even though it never really got a kind of a big stage down here, it lives on in various streaming capacities, and it does find US sometimes. And they like the show. I think it's just a matter of access. There's nothing about that show that to me seems specifically Canadian outside of, obviously the setting, you could say something about the tone. Brent is a very kind of Canadian sort of hero. But in terms of just jokes, we were just trying to be funny, do the same kind of thing that they were doing on, Seinfeld or whatever. I mean, I was only there. I wasn't there I was only there for a year, and then we got pulled away to a couple of us left and did another show. But so I wasn't there in the very beginning of it. But it was I had nothing but respect for it going in, and still today, I haven't seen a show. With the exception, Schitt's Creek is a completely different animal. And a terrific show, and so I sort of two different categories. But in the category of what Corner Gas was doing, which was just trying to be funny, I think I had hoped that might create a new wave of comedies in Canada that would be a little bit less self-conscious about being Canadian, and a little bit more hands-off. I mean, that's the other difference. That's sort of the main difference that came up when I first got down here. Was there was a little bit more sort of respect around the showrunner position and the writer's room in general, in terms of, kind of not interfering too much. That said, that's kind of changed too. If anything, it's become, in some ways, the U.S. system has become more like the Canadian system than the Canadian has like the U.S., in that it's very risk averse. There's a lot of nervousness at the top. There's fewer shows getting made, and so the fewer things that get made, the more tense people get about the decisions. That's what I see. I see it. I don't think I think the differences have evened out, and not necessarily in a good way. But again, just an economic reality of where we're at.
So I noticed recently, I think it was a year, maybe 2 years ago, you were working with Mark McKinney on Mark McKinney Needs a Hobby. How did that come to play? Because I'm sure Darren and I don't know if Darren was a Kids in the Hall fan when he was a teenager, but that's kind of where I was like, oh, this is a lot different than Wayne and Schuster and our other kind of Canadian comedies. So how did you get involved with Mark? Well,
just to go back before I met him, I mean, I had that same experience certainly with kids. To me, the being probably just a few years older than you, maybe more than a few years. I don't know.
I'm pretty old. Depends.
Well, I'm 55 now. So
okay. You're fucking old. That's okay, Rob.
I'm old. Yeah. So when I was 12, but when I was about 12 or 13, that time when your kind of comedy brain is really starting to kind of find what appeals to it. It was SCTV, and so to me, the Second City people became these kind of untouchable. In fact, weirdly enough, although I think I was in brief consideration for a writing thing on Schitt's Creek, but I was in New York at the time. But I was dying to get on that show because I was dying to certainly meet Eugene and Catherine, and I met once, but very briefly. But I always held those people in like godlike status, Kids, the same thing to an extent, the only difference being that they came up when I was in college. And so it was a little bit more, it was less distant and more, I knew people who knew the kids, and I knew people, but I didn't know, I didn't really know them or Mark or anybody like that. But Mark and I worked on a show called Less Than Kind out in Winnipeg in the mid 2000s. And so that was the first time I met Mark. And again, it was just, I in a sense, I felt as though, although he was much more successful and funnier than I am, that we were contemporaries in a sense. So it kind of took away a little bit of that apprehensive feeling. And also, Mark is just one of the most sort of open, fairly, I don't know, I'm trying to think of what the word is. He's just he is who he presents to be, and he's not terribly pretentious, and he's not a terrible control freak or all the things that you kind of imagine a comedian might be. He's just a very genuine guy, and I really respond to that. And so anyway, we were doing the hobby show came about because he had helped me out. I had started a YouTube channel and was doing a little podcast, and he had been on it a couple of times, and so we were just chatting quite a bit. And he was living down here. He had a place in Venice Beach for quite some time, which he got rid of last year. But I was talking to Kim Bondi, who was at a company called Sphere in Toronto, and we were kicking around ideas, and somehow that came to pass. But we only did the 1 year. Unfortunately, I would have loved to have done more, but we did 10, and it aired on CTV and Crave, and I guess it's still streaming on Crave. And I hope people check it out. It was a very earnest show in a way. Like there were laughs in it, but there was a deliberately kind of a soft approach, like given the times and given that there are given that people are kind of craving communities and things that people can kind of do together, get out of the house, get offline, all that stuff. And just making it, that was a huge kick, because we got to travel around and meet people who do weird things with a bunch of other weird people. Like who were really into that, and whose identity was wrapped up in that and not in, political stripe or whatever. And there was just something kind of life affirming about that, especially at that time. In this time, we were just shooting a little less than a couple of years ago. Anyway, it was great fun, and I knew Mark would be kind of just very personable with people, and he was. So it was fun. And it made me realize that I didn't really have a hobby, and that I badly needed one. Yeah. And I still haven't really found out what that is. Do you have a hobby? Who has hobbies?
I wish I had time for hobbies, but unfortunately I have a podcast, so I guess
this is a kind of a hobby.
It kind of is, hobby,
yeah.
Yeah, and I meet interesting people, and Darren, and it's I was gonna say, because Mark always did seem kind of like the nice guy. Not that any of the kids seemed like jerks or anything like that, but he did seem like the guy you could probably approach. And maybe it's just from we watch Superstore, and he just seems like he's kind of that guy that is just very genuine and very nice.
Yeah. No, I think there's some truth to that. I've met those guys over the years, and no, they're all very nice. No, they're all nice. I mean, he's certainly amicable. Just less in his own head, I think. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't. Who knows what it was like to be one of those guys? Especially, they did a reboot for Amazon 3 or 4 years back. And they still will tour periodically. It's been a while since they toured, but they'll do live shows and stuff. And there's always friction. I mean, you're talking about guys who are in their 60s now, who all of whom had their own sort of comedic voice and idea of what sort of, Mark is a very character-based kind of guy, sort of less premisey, whereas some of the stuff that, I don't know if this is fair, but maybe some of the stuff that Dave and Kevin did was a little bit more premisey. But there were a couple of different kinds of comedy there that somehow fought their way for dominance and made a really, really good show. Even the reboot was good, which was kind of remarkable if you saw it. I mean,
25 years later, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, and the fact that they managed to kind of capture just the general vibe of it and feel like it was still, I was really impressed with that they were able to do that.
Okay, so here's a writing question for you. You're obviously, we haven't mentioned your thing that you do where you talk about will I like this old movie? So you're a fan of old films and older cinema. But if you could go back in time and write for any comedy series or a comedy movie, where would you like to put yourself?
Oh, I wish to God I'd been born 20 years earlier sometimes. Yeah. I mean, I feel lucky that I got in on the tail end of show business. But I mean, I had a few good years here, and there've been. I mean, there's still stuff happening, but it's just changed. The town feels different. It's kind of a bit of a ghost town. And there's just less production happening. Anyway, but to answer your question, I certainly would have loved to have worked on any of those Jim Burrows shows from or James Brooks shows from back in the day. Mary Tyler Moore, Cheers, would probably be the best example. Any of the Bob Newhart show, the first guy I worked for out here, the first showrunner on a show for CBS called Mad Love that only lasted a season. But a writer named Matt Tarsis, who's doing a show with Bill Lawrence right now. But Matt's dad was Jay Tarsis, who was half of Pratchett and Tarsis, and they were a team. And his dad actually played, if you've ever seen Teen Wolf, his dad, Jay Tarsis, played Coach Finstock. Who's the weird, the funny guy. Anyway, so but those guys had worked on the Bob Newhart show, and that to me, it just blows my mind that even within a generation that that to me would have been great, because part of for a couple of reasons. One, back then you had about 25 or 26 minutes of screen time to tell your story. You're down to, when I started, it was maybe 22 and a half to 22, then it was 21. I worked on a show for TV Land about 10 years ago where we had about 18 minutes of actual story, absent credits and everything else. So, it's incredibly difficult to it's just become more challenging. You've got 4 acts instead of 2. Every pilot needs to introduce every person within the first 30 seconds. If you go back and look at the Cheers pilot, and I've talked about this 100 times with people, but if you go back and look at the Cheers pilot, the luxurious pace of that pilot as people slowly come in. It's got a cold open that has nothing to do with the show at all. You'd never be able to get away with that now. It's got some kid who's not in the cast. Then Coach comes in, and then I think maybe Norm comes in, and then Carla comes in, and the way Carla interacts with Coach in a certain way, because Coach is sort of the father, but she interacts completely differently with Sam because Sam is sort of the brother, and you get it. And by the end of the first act, you know exactly who these people are and where we are and what's going on. But if you made that show today, you'd have some fucking asshole breathing down your neck telling you, oh, this is too slow. We've got to have it. Everybody's got to come in quicker. Why isn't Diane in the first scene? She's in the show. We got to get Diane in fast. There's no patience for any of that. There's no setup. And that's, I'm just talking about a pilot, but there's that same thing applies to every single week. There's just a feeling of, why are we wasting time doing this little silly bit of business when we could just be moving the story forward, and why, and how come, what happened to the C story? It's like, there should be an A and a B and a C story. And it's like, well, you can't cut 6 minutes out of running time and still expect A, B's and C's. Like, maybe you don't have a C story now. Like they're still trying to do the same kind of show in a much more condensed amount of time. And it's just not as good, Nothing that I've done here or there, to me, with the exception, I mean, there have been a couple shows that I've really enjoyed and that I would watch. I won't say what they are. It beers and saying that I wouldn't watch the other ones, but certainly Corner Gas was one of them, because I did think that was a genuinely funny show before I started, and I would certainly put that up there in terms of a certain timelessness in the Utica. I think you'll be able to pick that up in 20 years if we're still here and have a laugh. I don't, there's a lot of stuff that I don't think you could say that about. I just think it was a better, there were more people doing it, better, smarter writers who had come out of a lot, some of them had come out of movies, some of them had come out of theater, some of them were just TV writers who had come up out of I Love Lucy, but that, it's definitely a time that's kind of come and gone a bit. Yeah. So yeah, Cheers would probably be if I had, to me, I don't think anybody ever improved upon the multicam.
At that point, yeah, for
at
sure.
that point, or since. I don't think. I mean, I don't think Frasier. People love Frasier. I think it's good. I don't think it was as good as Cheers. I don't think anything was as good as Cheers. I can't think. I'll say this. I think Seinfeld is probably the funniest show maybe on anything ever. I think Seinfeld is so, with the exception of Seinfeld. But the lesson that people took from Seinfeld from a programming standpoint is, oh, this is good. People like to move around all the time. It's more, Seinfeld was more like it was like a single camera show shot like a multicam. You know what I mean? Like, yes, there was stuff shot in front of a live audience in the apartment, in the diner, but especially as that show went on, how often it moved about. And they really, there were scenes that were 20, 25 seconds long, right? You check in with George over here, and then Kramer's on the other side of town. You got to like that was sort of because they were very good writers, they managed to sort of, and then they would sort of weave all of that together. But the lesson that I think a lot of network programmers took from that was, oh yeah, people want, just let's have it move faster around. And then you get a show like How I Met Your Mother, which wasn't a bad show, but I always felt like, this is just zipping around. It doesn't feel like, there's no proscenium. There's no sense of I'm watching a stage play kind of unfold in front of me. Like, they were all in the family episodes that took place just in the one living room. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like act 1, living room, act 2, living room, maybe a bit of kitchen. Like, and because the writing was good and the actors were good and the story was well constructed, and partly because there were only 3 channels, which is a factor. I mean, it was easier to commit. But at the same time, I think those programs were more enriching and better, just hold up better as art, if you can call them art. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was an accident of history, maybe that TV was allowed to be paced at that way, But it's unfortunate that we can't do that anymore, I think.
I mean, there was 3 channels, and the Beachcombers were on one of the other ones, so you didn't have many options.
Well, in Canada, that's right. In Canada, you had the 3 networks. When I was a lad, we had ABC, NBC, and CBS from Buffalo, which is still the case. There was no Fox, and we had TV Ontario, which was public television in the province of Ontario. We had the CBC, and we had CTV,
and you could maybe pick up CH. Yeah, you global, and you could pick up CHCH in Hamilton.
Oh, and CHCH, which was also and then later City TV. Canada had a really nice renaissance there in the 70s and the 80s of independent stations acting independently and having kind of a brand and an identity of their own. City TV obviously being the best example, but even CHCH, something came up on my phone earlier this week because I follow, things like Retro Ontario and all that, but of like a show called The Party Game, which was a show on CHCH in the 70s, which was essentially celebrities, Canadian celebrities, playing charades. It was just a charades game that came on every day,
which they've now done 100 times since then, right? Like
for much more money, but it was essentially like a local show. But I miss that. I mean, it's I'm not saying it was necessarily great TV, but there was just a sense that for $1.25 you could make a TV show, and there'd be enough people there to see it.
We've talked about it a bunch on here. It's like Hilarious House of Frightenstein was on CHCH, but I think
same era.
The other thing I used to watch when I was a kid was Tiny Talent Time.
Yeah,
the bell for like
yes, with Bill Lawrence.
Kids would come on and they would play the accordion for 4 minutes, and he'd be like, I could snap my fingers and make your wish come true.
Make a wish come true. Yeah. Well, that's where the Red Green Show started.
Oh, did it really?
And which I worked on for several years, and I didn't work on it until later. It ran for 15 years. It was already ensconced at the CBC by that point. But that was a perfect example of something almost unheard of now in TV, where it started as a thing on CHCH. I think it was there for 2 or 3 years. The budget was obviously extremely low. Steve Smith used to say,
wasn't it Smith and Smith? He had the show with his wife?
He had a show with his he was a Hamiltonian, and he had a lot of pull, I guess, for CHH. And he did, but he for a very low amount of money, and he would always say, just his joke was that he would say, give me enough money that I can do something, but not enough that you care what it is. And I was like, that's a great way to make TV. And he did it. He made hundreds and hundreds of hours of TV with that, frankly. And then and Red Green, which started at CHCH for no money at all, then migrated, was enough of a hit that Global picked up on it, and then they produced it for a couple of years. And then by the time it was in season 6 or 7, it was on the CBC. And if you went in today and pitched that show blind to the CBC, I mean, they'd laugh you out the door. Like, oh, well, I mean, first of all, no one's going to do a show about a bunch of old white guys in a lodge because nobody gives a shit. But also, like, you couldn't just explain to them that there's an audience for this. No, but there is an audience for this. Mm-hmm. You have to, if you can't prove it ahead of time, then you don't get there's no real wiggle room. And the internet has kind of taken over that a little bit. And obviously there are things that have started online and kind of become a phenomenon and made their way, migrated to larger success. But yeah, I don't know. Local TV, losing local TV, I think, is a loss wherever you are, whether you're in the US or Canada or whatever town. It's a loss. Yeah.
Well, we should get into a game of deep cuts.
I'm not getting any funnier here.
So, Rob, the first thing we got to do is decide who's going to go first, second, or third. So we play the IMDb Best Known For game. I'm going to give you a name of an actor and actress, and you're going to try to tell me what is number one on their IMDb known for. Not the first thing they were in, not the most recent thing, but what, according to IMDb, is number one. So,
okay,
today's actor, I don't think we've used him before, Alex. I need to start keeping track of people we've used for this before. But is Jeff Goldblum. So, Rob, I'm going to go to you first. What do you think should be number one on Jeff Goldblum's IMDb? It's a good list.
It is, yeah. Well,
I would say there's one thing should come off the list.
All right. I'm gonna say the first thing that popped into my brain, but I feel like I'm gonna say The Fly, even though it's been so long. I'm sure it's something else by now, but I'm gonna say The Fly. Going
with The Fly. Darren Oliver. He's like, who's Jeff Goldblum?
Oh, I know who Jeff Goldblum is, and I'm like, I can't put him into anything because I was enjoying the stories. Now I have to think. Thanks a lot, Rob.
Like, I only know his albums.
I just wanted this.
He's like, wasn't he online in Death Wish?
He was in one of the Guardians movies. I know that.
Yeah, more so, not the Guardians movie, but that's not on.
Sorry, anyway, was he in The Big Chill?
Yeah, he's got a big part.
Yeah, okay. So that one,
he's got a big part in The Big Chill.
Yeah, I couldn't really. I see. Once I get the guy and I start placing him in things, I assume I'm placing him in everything. Like, wasn't he in Home Alone? Like, I do it all. And
yeah, so he played Daniel Stern in Home Alone. So well done, Dan.
That's what I thought.
Alex Young, what is your pick for Jeff Goldblum?
I'm gonna go with Jurassic Park. Seems like a safe choice.
Park. Oh, jeez. Yeah, of course.
Right. So two of you are on the list. Darren, I'll tell you this: The Big Chill's not on the list, but I would take The Big Chill over what is number 3 on his list, which is the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Oh dear!
Because honestly, I don't remember him in that film. I know he's in it, but I can't tell you. Like, had they said Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou or something, I might have been like, yeah, I remember him in that, but I don't remember him in the Grand Budapest.
That's number 3.
That's number correct? 3. Independence Day is number 4. And it could arguably, you could say that could have been number 1, 2, or 3. Like, it could be up there. The Fly is number 2.
Okay, not bad.
And number 1 is Jurassic Park. So, Alex, would you like to go first, second, or third?
You know what? I will go third.
Alex at 3. Rob, would you like to go first or second?
This is on now. We're getting into the key. Right. Okay. I'll go.
And if you go first, it goes 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. So if you go first, You're gonna have to wait a bit for your second.
Oh, I see. I'll go second. Let me go make sure that I. Yeah,
and you know what I
I'll go
love
second.
most about this? It puts Darren on the hot seat, making him go first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
love that. All right.
So tonight,
Jeff, I'm gonna go first, Jeff.
Thanks, Darren.
Okay.
Tonight's 3 movies are. Let's go from chronologically here. From 1980, Airplane.
Mm-hmm.
From 1989, Parenthood. And from 1993, Groundhog Day, which I'm surprised we've never done, Alex. We never lined it up so that we did it like for Groundhog Day or something like that. We've never done it on the podcast. We've done it in person years and years ago now, but never on the podcast. So while the 3 of you think about the deep cuts from these movies, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
You know that feeling when you take the first bite of something so good you immediately start planning your next visit? That's Taunton Tacos. Located on Taunton Road in Hampton, this local favorite is serving up fresh, bold, Mexican-inspired food packed with flavor, crunch, and good vibes. From the first smell off the grill to the last bite, everything is made with care, loaded with fresh ingredients, and served with the kind of friendly energy that keeps people coming back again and again.
Hello.
Whether you're grabbing a quick lunch, feeding the family, or chasing the perfect comfort food craving, Taunton Tacos delivers every single time. Big flavor, great people, amazing food. Taunton Tacos, 1967 Taunton Road, Hampton.
All right, we are back with Deep Cuts the Game. We've got Darren Oliver, Alex Young, and Rob Sheridan, all the way from somewhere in LA, and we are doing the movies Groundhog Day, Parenthood, and Airplane. Rob, one of the things I was excited, you sent me a list of your favorite movies, and I think one of them was The Swimmer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And I was very excited because I was like, nobody even knows that film, let alone has it as one of their favorites.
Well, you were asking me the other day about my will I actually like about this movie? What's this called? Will I actually like this old movie?
Yes.
Which is on my Up All Night with Bob on YouTube, and I don't know. You can put some in later. But you were asking me about Targets, which I thought was funny because most people don't know Targets very well, and it was oddly enough, I actually had done Target, but also The Swimmer. I am borderline obsessed with that movie. It is one of my favorites. I've read I even bought a bunch of John Cheever stories just because I wanted to have the original short story on hand, which is quite good. But yeah, no, it's with Burt Lancaster, The Swimmer. I haven't done that on my thing yet, but I'm going to soon.
Burt Lancaster seems like a good guy. Everything I've read about that guy seemed like he was.
He does,
and he's
my age, and he's like 56 or something. And he's in the shape of his life.
Yeah,
he's. It's incredible. No, it's one of those movies that will hit you more the older that you get.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was probably in my 30s the first time I saw it, and I kind of got the sense of what it was up to. But then as you get older, it's an old man movie.
Yeah, Darren, don't watch it, Darren. It will.
Don't interrupt me. I'm trying to think of names or at least other movies that people have been in.
Yeah, and if no one has seen Targets, you should at least watch Targets for the story on how the movie Targets got made. Alex, did you get around to watching?
I don't know what Targets is.
Targets is Peter Bogdanovich directed it. It's a Roger Corman film that they used essentially like 10 minutes of footage of. It's not Bela Lugosi. It's
Boris Karloff.
Boris Karloff, that they had like extra footage from him walking around a castle. And Peter Bogdanovich is like, I can make a movie with this, and takes that 10 minutes of footage and then like weaves a story around a highway shooter. And
now they had him. He did have him
for a few extra. Yeah,
Karloff for a couple of days, and so they were able to build some stuff around that. But there's a mass shooter on the loose, and the mass shooter winds up eventually at the end of the day at a drive-in theater, and the drive-in theater is where the Boris Karloff movie is playing. So they managed to sort of, but it tells us, this is Peter Bogdanovich's first movie and a very unusual one, but it's excellent.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch considering that it probably cost almost nothing to make. So, Aaron, we've given you a lot of time to think about it, so I hope your first deep cut is a good one. Where are you going?
I'm gonna go Airplane.
Okay,
it won't be a good one, but it might be. I don't know. It might be. One of my favorite scenes is when they're in the hospital and he points out that one of the guys is shell shocked and he thinks he's Ethel Merman and it's actually Ethel Merman. I like that scene, and so that stands out as maybe a good deep cut.
It's pretty good. I mean, she is. Yeah, it's 12 points for Ethel Merman, Darren. So that's for you.
12 points.
Great. That's out of 20, that's pretty good. So that's
but they said her name in the movie.
I know, but it's like you have to. It's 5 seconds, right? Like she then sings, right? That's kind
of
right. Part. And if you don't, the movie's 46 years old at this point, Darren. So
I'm almost the same age as me.
Sure. Rob, we're over to you. What is your first deep cut?
Now, do I stay on Airplane or do I pick another
you can
movie?
go to Groundhog Day. You can go Parenthood, wherever you think you've got the most points.
Let me stay on Airplane for a second because I got a good one here, I think.
Okay.
Can I do that? I can do that.
Yeah.
There's no rule. Okay. Are you ready? Here we go. Jill Whalen.
I have her name written down because I was like, I recognized her as well. She is the girl who is a heart transplant. So she's on the plane, and then there's a part where the girl's singing the song, and she keeps knocking.
The nun knocks her IV out. Yeah, and Jill, so she played Vicky on The Love Boat.
The Love Boat.
Later.
Yeah. And she does some pretty good acting in this one. She's got to do the puckered face like she's dying over and over again. So Jill Whalen for 14 points.
Whoa.
And I will say this, watching this again, and I think it clicked something in my brain that from watching it as a kid, I always thought the flight attendant that is kind of like working with her was also from The Love Boat. Because she looks very much like there's Vicky and then the older girl. And I was like, wow, that's cool that the two of them got to do this.
Oh, yeah. No, I know who you're talking. You're talking about.
Yeah, hold on to it. But okay, Alex, you get 2 in a row. What are your first and your second deep cuts?
I'm gonna do one shot in the dark and I'm gonna do one safe bet. And I'm gonna start with my safe bet, which is the only one I have from Groundhog Day.
I already know where you're going. Can I write?
Guess what I'm gonna say, Jeff?
Yeah, I think I know what it is too.
Does he play a general in something else, Alex?
No. Who? I mean, that guy.
Where are you going?
I'm going with Stephen Tobolowsky.
Oh, Stephen Tobolowsky. That's not as deep as I thought you were going to go, my friend.
No, listen, Jeff, this is not going to be a high-scoring game for me.
Stephen Tobolowsky for 6 points, Alex.
Fair enough.
6 points. As he is very famously one of the most recognizable deep cut kind of actors, as he's just in everything.
6 is fair for him.
6 is fair. All right, so what's your shot in the dark, my friend?
So Parenthood. I don't know everybody who's in it, but I know who directed it. So I'm going to guess Clint Howard.
Oh, yeah, Clint Howard is. And actually has a lot more screen time than he normally gets in films, as he is an angry dad at the baseball game and is always questioning the coach's decision-making. So Clint Howard for 10 points, Alex.
Perfect.
It's not bad. Not bad. All right, Rob, we are back to you. What is your second deep cut?
I'm going to stay on Groundhog Day. And before anybody else takes it, I'm going to say Michael Shannon.
That's what I thought you were going with us. When I said, did he ever play a general?
Like Zod.
I thought General Zod.
He's the flower guy. That's a good
and you fucking know that. We've talked about it so many times.
Dumb, Jeff. My brain is dumb.
Michael Shannon for 12 points.
Okay.
That's a good one. That's a good one. All right, Darren, we're back to you. You started off strong. Ethel Merman. What's your second? You get 2 in a row. So your second and your third.
Now I'm trapped in the world of people who played themselves in Airplane. So I'm going to go with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
He's not playing himself. He's Roger Murtaugh.
I looked it up. He's literally playing. He pulls him out of the chair in his Lakers uniform.
I know, but he's very adamant to the little kid that he is Roger Murtaugh, which I looked it up is the same name that Danny Glover has in Lethal Weapon, just spelt differently.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
They're both Roger Murtaughs, just spelled.
Yeah, that's true.
He does not get back on defense, is what the little kid tells him. So right. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for 6 points, Darren. He's kind of recognizable as a 7'1" guy. So not bad. All right, Darren, what is your third deep cut?
I have to do another one?
You got to do 6 of them.
I have some things floating in my head in Airplane that I don't know if they're true, so I'm too scared to say it now. I'm going to keep thinking about it, but I'm going to.
Darren, do you think you're going to win?
No, but
Then you might as well go for it.
Yeah, but
let him cook, Jeff.
Okay,
all right.
I'm going to go on a guess because I watched it a while back, and is the old guy from Big Trouble in Little China and like Everything Everywhere All at Once, is he in this? He plays the guy.
He commits Harry Carey essentially.
Yes.
After hearing the lead's
is it the same guy
story? Yeah, it's James. It's
James Hong.
James Hong.
Yeah, and we just had him for Big Trouble in Little China a couple weeks ago, Alex. So James Hong for 11 points. Darren.
Wow,
that's good. That's a good one. Well done. All right, Rob, we are back to you. You've given us Michael Shannon and Jill Whalen. So no misses here so far for you. What's your third deep cut?
And it can be from any one of these three. I don't necessarily have to go to Parenthood now.
Nope,
Parenthood is tough because, I wish I'd seen Parenthood more recently.
I mean, I will say Airplane's definitely the deepest, but Parenthood's got some interesting people in it.
Okay, let's see here. No. Let me just think about an Airplane for 2 seconds here. Well, I wish I could go. I wish this was deeper, but I'm gonna go with Barbara Billingsley.
That's a good one. Barbara Billingsley as the jive-talking older white woman, best known from Leave It to Beaver.
Yes.
And you know what?
Very well known to my generation.
I watched that movie. I watched Airplane yesterday, just to refamiliar. And she's really good at talking jive in this movie. Like, incredibly good at it. Was like, that is very surprising. I don't. I'm not going to repeat the whole joke, but Darren and Rob, do you guys remember? Like, as a kid, I'm sure there was jokes that went through elementary schools that every kid kind of like just parroted, and their cousin told them, and then it got told again. But that there was like the Leave It to Beaver joke that was like, what are the dirtiest words ever said on TV?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say the joke, but yeah, it was like, how did every kid in every elementary school around our age all hear the same?
We thought that was so funny.
Oh my gosh. Had no understanding of what it meant or anything, but like you had to laugh.
Yeah.
All right. So Barbara Billingsley for 10 points. Alex, back to you. You got your third and your fourth. You just gave us Clint Howard and Stephen Tobolowsky. You missed out on the Michael Shannon, though. So
I did. I feel dumb about that one. As soon as you said it, I'm like, yes, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna try my luck again. I'm gonna go back to the Howard well. Rance Howard in that movie?
Yeah, Rance Howard is in that movie, Alex.
Oh, good one.
He is, I don't know if anyone remembers the movie very well, but there's a part where the lead is envisioning how his son is going to become a huge success. And he pictures him like 20 years in the future, and it's at like his university graduation. And Rance Howard is the one. And the valedictorian this year is blah, 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 blah. So Rance Howard for 12 points. Alex, he's a little less bigger a part of than Clint. So that's pretty good.
I'm glad Rance Howard isn't his son in the future. That seems rough.
Yeah. All right, Alex, what is your fourth deep cut?
Well, I'm going to take a much safer call from Parenthood now, because I do believe a young Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. And honestly, what year did Point Break come out, Alex?
Like 92?
Is it that much longer, or is it like
91, I think it was.
So this movie's literally 2 years before Point Break.
And a year after,
10 years younger.
And a year after Bill and Ted, the first Bill and Ted.
Like, it's just crazy how so Keanu Reeves, he's only worth 7 points, Alex.
That's fine. He's Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, he's genuinely very famous. All right, Rob, we are back to you for your fourth deep cut.
I wish I could remember. I'm going to go Groundhog Day. And see, to me, it's cheating if you can't remember the name of the person. If I were running this show, I would say you got to know the name of the actor, or it doesn't count.
No one would come on our show if we did that.
Well, I tell you, it's gonna, but because it's a point of pride with me. But I would say, here's who I'm thinking of.
Okay.
But I don't want this to be the one because it's just not fair to me. But I'll tell you who I'm thinking of. The guy who plays, he's a well-known Chicago improviser. He's in a couple of Harold Ramis's movies, and he plays the psychiatrist that Bill Murray goes to see.
Yep.
And he is also in The Ice Harvest, which is additionally an excellent Harold Ramis movie if you haven't seen it. But if I could even remember his first name, it would give me so much joy. But I'm gonna.
You don't. I can give you the points.
So can I get? But I can still get it. All right. That's who I want. That's who I think I want.
Okay. So his name is. I'm gonna mispronounce his last name, but it's David Pasquarsi.
Pasquale, I think.
Yeah.
Pasquale?
It's P.
No, it's not Pasquale.
Quersi. I wrote down the thing. He's most recently he was in the Book of Boba Fett.
Was he?
If you look him up, you'd be like, I totally recognize that guy because he's got.
He's a guy. He's a character. Yeah, he turns up in a lot of things. Yeah.
So he's worth 13 points.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, he's got the little speech in Groundhog Day about how he's like, well, you went to school for this, didn't you? And he's like, I took some classes.
Yeah. All right. That's tomorrow for you.
Yeah. Darren Oliver, you got your fourth and your fifth.
Okay, so I've been patiently waiting because I know that the 3 or 4, I guess, guys in Airplane of status, the one that I like, or the one that I find the most interesting is it's Peter, the old Mission Impossible guy, Peter.
It's good enough, Darren. That's good enough.
Is it Peter Graves?
It is. It's Peter Graves. He's the main pilot. He is Over is his name. So Peter Graves for 5 points, Darren. 5 points.
Nice.
What is your fifth deep cut, Darren?
Oh,
I got to do it again. Yeah.
Lloyd Bridges. Lloyd Bridges is of the
really?
4 great ones.
Yeah. So are you saying oh damn, like because he said Lloyd Bridges?
Yeah, it was on my list. It's I picked the wrong way to stop sniff and glue guy.
He's worth 2 points.
Oh, thank God.
How many?
2.
Do you assign these points ahead of time?
I do.
So you already know.
There's a little bit of a leeway if somebody will talk me into something. I'll be like, yeah, I guess it wasn't that big of a part. But I literally watched this movie yesterday, and like Alex said, it's like it starts off. I picked a horrible day to quit smoking, to quit drinking, quit cocaine. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
All right, Rob, we are back to you. We've got a good game going here. You got 2 left, but right now we need your
2 left.
Deep cut.
All right, I got a good one. I'm going to stay on Groundhog Day again, one of my favorite movies, and it's a good Canadian pick. Mary Gross. No, sorry, it's not Mary Gross. Robin Duke.
I was like, I figured that she's.
I was in that. She was on. This is how my brain worked, but Robin was in the SNL cast in the early '80s with Mary Gross.
Yeah, kind of the bad SNL, like. I can't honestly say I remember anything about it.
That was my first cast, right? Like a 12 years old staying up late. Like I remember I had seen reruns at that point because they had syndicated them earlier in the evening. And I had seen reruns of the original cast, Belushi, Jane, all those, who was in the original cast. And then when I remember turning on the show and being able to stay up late for the first time, all ready to watch all of those people that I thought were so funny, and none of them were on the show.
And it's Eddie Murphy, Joe Piscopo.
Joe Piscopo, but Eddie Murphy was, and Tim Kazurinsky was. No, but anyway, yeah. So, but I'm going to say the great Robin Duke.
She is worth 10 points. She is the
10 points.
The waitress.
She's the waitress
in Groundhog Day. I think the one SNL cast that I've never seen any of their work at all is I think the really, really bad one, like the Robert Downey Jr., Anthony Michael Hall. Like I've never seen any clips of that. Like I think they've hidden them.
Well, some of them are out there. That year, I'll just briefly, because Mark McKinney, we were talking about McKinney earlier, who was later in the cast in the early '90s, but he and Bruce McCullough, prior to Kids in the Hall, actually wrote on that season.
Oh wow!
There was an unbelievable all-star writers' room on that season, as bad as it is. It was a whole new cast. Lorne Michaels had been away for 5 years. He was going to come back and reinvigorate the show. It was a very strange group of people. This was like Robert Downey Jr. and Anthony Michael Hall and Joan Cusack and who's the bad Quaid brother? Randy Quaid. Randy Quaid. And a weird group. But the people in that room, aside from Mark and Bruce, who were just kids, but George Meyer, I think, was in that room, who was later on The Simpsons for years. A lot of Simpsons writers. I think John Vitti might have been in that room. There were a lot of really. It was a bench, man. But the show is not good, and that was also one of the earlier seasons. No, it's not. It's weird. It's weird. But I'm going to give you my. No, sorry. Do I have to? No,
you're good. You gave us.
I gave you one.
So you got one left. Alex has got to give us his final two. So Alex, what are your 5 and 6?
I mean, I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel here since Darren took my A+ Lloyd Bridges.
Yeah, your 2-pointer.
So I'll take 2 more from Parenthood. I would like Martha Plimpton from Shy People.
What a weird. I knew you were going to do. Yes, Martha Plimpton for 6 points.
And everybody's mom, Diane Wiest.
Yes, America's Mom, Diane Wiest for 3 points. Alex.
Was there something? No, I'm sorry. I was just gonna. Is there something? Is there an actor who was in all 3 of these movies?
There wasn't this time. No. I couldn't.
Okay.
No. 2 of these movies were on your list of your favorite films, and then I was just looking for kind of a third one, just in case people weren't familiar.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Diane Wiest, she's in all movies in the 80s as somebody's mom. Martha Plimpton,
that's pretty good.
Pretty good, but I'm thinking she's in this movie with Keanu Reeves, and a few years before this, she's in the one with the other Phoenix that passed away.
Yes, she is in a movie called Running on Empty with River Phoenix and
Judd Hirsch,
dad and Judd Hirsch and who plays?
Can't remember the mom. I know Craig Smeaton loves this movie. He does.
He?
Craig, he loves Running.
I remember not loving it at the time.
I know, and I watched it and I was like, "Hi, this movie bugs me. These people bother me."
They bugged me. Yeah, they did. Yeah, that's how it was my experience. I saw it in the theater. I actually reviewed it for.
They killed someone. Like they are responsible for the death of someone and should be in jail for what they did. But
they're revolutionary.
They were like, hippie. Martha Plimpton had a nice little run there. All right, Rob, we are back to you. You need your final deep cut. I don't want to say that you've won the game already, but you've won the game already.
Well, let's see. Let's see. Keep in mind how old I am. This is all I have, gentlemen. Now wait, now let me see if I can't pull something out of Airplane here. Just because
just showing off at this point.
Yeah.
Well, the only person I can think of who was in Parenthood, didn't Bonnie. Speaking of Chicago people, wasn't Bonnie? She's not in it.
No.
Do you know who I'm thinking of? Had a sitcom for a while. Was on.
I mean, if we're talking about she has a famous sister, I think I know who you're talking about. Right, like a Bonnie.
No. Well, let's get away from this because I'm not comfortable with this area because I know I thought she's not in the movie. But hang on. I'll give you. I'm going to give you an Airplane. We can't give anything from the sequel. It's got to be Airplane.
Got to be Airplane.
Again, but Leon is getting rounder. That is Steven. His name is Steven, not Tobolowsky, but I know his name is Steven. He's in, I believe, both of them. I got his first name, but that's who I'm thinking of. The deep cut here is Steven. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know. He's like up in the
He's in the control tower.
in control room, and yeah, I want to make sure that we're because he does not have an IMDb profile photo because he is so not well known.
But his name is Steven, right?
Yep, and he's in Airplane 2. He's also in Trading Places and some movie called The Wizard of Speed and Time, which sounds incredible.
That's awesome.
But you know what?
He was in Kentucky Fried Movie as well. So I have a feeling
he's
also a Zucker Abrams Zucker joint. Yeah.
So he's Steven Stucker is his name.
Steven Stucker.
So he's worth 12 points because how would you know who Steven Stucker is?
How is he only worth 12?
Because he's got a pretty big part in the movie.
Yeah, all right. He doesn't even have a feature on IMDb.
I mean, like he's in it probably way more than like Lloyd Bridges in it. Like
how's Lloyd Bridges only 2 points?
Because he's Lloyd goddamn Bridges, Alex.
I think Lloyd Bridges is in that movie more than Steven Stucker. I'm gonna say.
He's maybe he's in it more than Robert. Well, I don't want to say any names because Darren probably doesn't have them written down. Darren, what's your final deep cut?
I need to ask for some grace here.
Okay.
Because I have two names. What year was Groundhog Day again?
1993.
Okay. So I have two names. And I'm not sure if I think I'm doing that thing where I put somebody in the role and I think I'm wrong. So I want you to give me the points for the one that might be right.
Okay, sure. I mean, it's not going to make any difference. But
okay, good. So I think in Groundhog Day, is Seth Rogen in Groundhog Day as the camera guy?
How the fuck would Seth Rogen be in Groundhog Day?
No, he's too young.
He would have been like
camera guy. See, that's what bothers me.
9 years old or something like that.
The camera guy bothers me because I'm like, who is?
Yeah, the camera guy's very famous.
Yeah, but he wasn't then.
No, but he always plays kind of the same.
Yeah, guy. He was a Letterman regular in the 80s.
Yeah. He's always got some sort of weird rash on him, or his eyeball is twitching.
So that was the one mulligan that I wanted, and then the other one.
So you're not getting it's Seth Rogen not in this.
Not in it. So the other mulligan is that I feel like when you talk about the old sitcoms, I grew up on like Barney Miller and WKRP, and like my era was in this like pre-weird, but in reruns, not live.
Yeah.
But I feel like Jimmy Walker is in Airplane.
He is. He's cleaning the window.
Okay.
Of the airplane.
Thank God. See, I thought I was somebody in that.
That's a good one. I would not have known that. I did not know that. I was watching.
I'm like, that's got to be somebody there. So, Jimmy.
I did not realize that was Jimmy J.J. Walker.
Yeah,
J.J. Walker, Dynamite.
Okay. I thought I was wrong, and I thought I was putting two people in movies that they didn't belong in, and it was only one person.
You did one of it, yeah. It was Jimmy J.J. Walker for 14 points, Darren. So that's makes up for your Lloyd Bridges. Let's see, who
Darren,
did we?
I thought you were not getting people's names right. You're either like, so you were going to do something like it's either Malcolm McDowell or Andy McDowell. I don't remember.
No, it was my inability to put the right people in the right place was the name I was going to get wrong.
Also, now is everybody? Are we?
That's it. That is it. I was getting over who we missed, but if you have any,
let me throw one name at you because I think maybe she's not in Parenthood. It was Bonnie Hunt was the name I was trying to come up with.
That's who I thought. I said she has a famous sister, Helen. So Bonnie Hunt was not in it. The women in that movie, like so, you have Mary Steenburgen. And her name is Harley Jane Kozak. She is the wife in Arachnophobia. She plays Rick Moranis' wife.
That is a tough one. But wait, Bonnie Hunt and Helen Hunt are sisters?
I did not know that either.
Are they not? I'm assuming they are.
I don't think they are.
I've been thinking that my entire life.
I don't think so.
That doesn't make it true.
I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
It just seemed like one of those. Like,
never once seen them together. In anything, or on or off screen.
You would never see me and my brother together either.
Great news, Jeff. They're unrelated.
Oh, well, there you go. I mean, hey, I just kind of assumed my whole life that they were, because they kind of showed up to me at the same time, like, early 90s. They were kind of, and I just assumed. Oh.
Jeff, I've said this to you many times. All blonde white women are not related.
Fair enough, Alex. Fair enough. Well, there you go. All right. Okay, so from Parenthood, another decent, not a lot of points would have been the actor Tom. I think it's Holtz.
But yeah, something like that. Tom Holtz
from Animal House and Amadeus, and
that's a good one.
Dennis Dugan, the director of like a lot of Adam Sandler films, is Steve Martin's boss in Parenthood.
Oh wow!
And then Bryce Dallas Howard has a cameo, Alex, as well.
Oh
as
wow! Should have
girl in the audience.
Howards.
Is she a baby in that?
She must have been a
baby. I think she might have been a baby. Yeah, literally.
Phoenix also in it, and I think I mentioned to you because literally a year later, after the Parenthood movie, they made the Parenthood TV show. They've made the first crack at it. And
not the one with like Peter.
No, so they did one with Ed Begley Jr. as the Steve Martin character. Thora Birch is the little girl. David Arquette is the Keanu Reeves, and Leonardo DiCaprio as the Joaquin Phoenix.
Wow!
And only lasted like 12 episodes. The funny thing about Parenthood is Steve Martin's supposed to be 35 in this movie. Now, Steve Martin has always looked 50, right, with the white hair. But I'm like, I looked up, he's 45 when they made this movie. I'm like, why don't they just say he's 45? Like, why do you got to try to make me think he's 35?
He can play younger. He's trying to get those hip roles.
But then they did a thing like where they look at him in the future, and Rance Howard's like, and blah blah blah, his father, and it's only supposed to be like 18 years later, but they've made him look like he's 70, and he's got like a cane and a mustache, and he's old. And I'm like, why the fuck they do that?
Well, and also this was not long before Father of the Bride, maybe a couple of years, but he was playing, I think,
an older, because he's got a daughter who's in her 20s.
Yeah.
So he would have had to have been closer to 50.
But I guess they were in their late 40s.
Well, yeah. Mary Steenburgen was only like 36 in Parenthood, but I was like, she once again always seems like
she is aged. And yet also ageless. Like she
looks great.
Yeah, I mean, I saw her recently in a movie that I had completely forgotten about called Time After Time, which is from 1979. And it's a time travel movie.
The Jack the Ripper one?
The Jack the Ripper one, where Jack the Ripper gets hold of the time machine and now they got to chase him down. And so if anybody, there's a good trivia question, though. If anybody ever wants to, what is the other time travel movie that Mary Steenburgen was in after Back to the Future 3? Time After Time. But looks dynamite in it. But honest to God, she every time I see her, she's like looks like Mary Steenburgen. I don't know. So I'll tell you one quick Hollywood story before I go. Are we done?
Sure. I was just going to tell you. So from Airplane, you could have gotten points for the autopilot, because he does have an IMDb profile. That would have been a good one. Jim Abrams and the Zuckers all have little cameos in it.
Oh yeah.
David Leisure is one of the Harry Krishners from I think he was Empty Nest was the TV show he used to show up. Jonathan Banks from Breaking Bad and everything is like a radar guy. And then it was so funny you mentioned the TV show The 10 of Us, Rob. The dad from The 10 of Us, his name is Bill Kirchenbauer.
Oh yeah,
he's actually in Airplane as like a pilot. Kidding. And I was like, oh my God, does he know this? You didn't say it. Groundhog Day, Darren, Chris Elliott was the guy you were thinking of as the cameraman. A couple good deep cut people. Rick Dukeman and Rick Overton are the town drunks. Rick Dukeman's from The Burbs. He's like Tom Hanks' friend in The Burbs. Rick Overton's in Willow. He's one of the tiny little people that helps Willow get home. Willie Garson from Sex and the City. And we just had him in There's Something About Mary, is like Bill Murray's replacement. And then the Santa from Home Alone that Kevin goes to ask for help is the guy in the hallway that's like, good morning, you think you're going to see the groundhog today? His name's Ken Hudson Campbell. Alex, he's also in Armageddon, which I know you love. He's the heavy guy on the Armageddon team. Harold Ramis is a doctor, plays
that's right.
And then the girl who's marrying Michael Shannon is a voice actress named Hynden Welch, and she's the voice of Princess Bubblegum from Adventure Time, Alex.
That's funny because she that's interesting because she physically suggests Nancy Cartwright, who plays Bart.
Yeah,
she looks like Bart. She looks a bit like Nancy Cartwright. That's funny that she's also a voice artist. Yeah. There must be something about short women who go into cartoon voices because E.G. Daily, do you know her?
From Pee-wee and
there you go.
What was the John Cusack? Better Off Dead, I think she does.
Oh, is she Better Off Dead?
She does a song. She's performing at the dance, and she sings a song called "Better Off Dead." Big fan of.
There you go.
Back in the day. So I'll give you the final scores. Alex Young, 44. Darren Oliver, 50. And Rob, you came up with a big 71. So congratulations.
71.
Wow. You're the winner. Are you? And I mean, that's not even me fudging the numbers. Like you won.
I was going to say, I hope you're not being generous just because I'm a guest.
You were going to give us another Hollywood story, but I do have to ask you, as
something
the
about
winner.
Yeah.
Okay. As the winner of Deep Cuts, we always hassle the winner to suggest a future guest for us. So is there anyone you can think of that's got kind of a similar brain as yours for something like this that might
wow.
themselves to being good at Deep Cuts?
Oh,
and obviously
I may have to write you later.
You can think about it later. And
I'm coming up blank right now.
Okay.
It's
pretty incredible that he got 71 points, and then when we really need him for something, he comes up blank.
Now you're asking me about real people in real life, and that's not a good area for me.
Well, Rob, we really want to thank you. Tell us, we mentioned it a little bit there as we came back from our commercial break. You've got your YouTube, and I watch them mostly on Instagram, but you got Will I Like This Old Film, or I'm sure I'm forgetting the.
I started doing these shorts / reels / TikToks. I sort of cross-platforming them though. But yes, they're called "Will I Actually Like This Old Movie?" Straight talk from an old movie nerd to you, the hypothetical younger viewer. It is a movie. I do a new old movie every day in under 60 seconds.
One every day.
I've been knocking them out one every day as a kind of a. It's partly, largely, actually, out of a need to. Just do something daily, but it's just been kind of keeping my brain sort of off of it's time that I would spend doom scrolling
for sure
is largely why I started it. But I hope I would love to gain a little thing following on it, but it's very fun to do.
Excellent. I enjoy it, and I thought I was just maybe in your backlog of like 100 of these, but it's good to know that there's a new one coming every day. And
no, I'm doing them every day. I've only just we're about 50 or 60 of them so far.
Awesome. Darren Oliver, what's going on with you? Do you got anything you want to promote?
My wife's got a YouTube channel. It's good. It's
more information.
It's a hell of a plug.
It's called
good.
It's really good. It's really cute and sweet. It's called Little Farm Big Dreams, and she's just done a bunch of maple syrup harvesting and boiling, and so there's a bunch of videos up on that. So check it out. It's really fun. I just finished a series for Cream called Deepwater Secrets, so that's going to be coming out soon somewhere where you can watch shows about Deepwater Secrets. And yeah, I'm going to be kicking around doing some editing somewhere, so I'll let you know what else comes up when that happens.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you for being here as well, Darren.
Thanks for having me.
Alex Young, find you on streaming places or
everybody knows what I'm going to say, so I'm going to cede my time and we'll see if we can get that one last Hollywood story out of Rob instead.
Yeah, you got another.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm realizing that it wasn't much of a story. It was like going into a party. Going into a party was a friend of mine who's a writer and knows a lot of people more than I do. Because when I have a party, I don't know if you'd see any celebrity, but I walked in and it was fairly early, and the only people sitting in the room were Ted Danson and Mary Steenburgen. And I literally just turned and walked out because I didn't want to be the only guy talking to them. But I will. I'm going to share you something. This is less. Because we were mentioning Chris Elliott, who I was always a big fan of, but his father was a man named Bob Elliott, and who played his dad on this Fox sitcom Get a Life, right?
Yeah.
So, but he was one half of a radio. This is for your, anybody I can turn on it. But he was one half of a radio duo called Bob and Ray in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. They're both dead now. But I wrote Bob a letter about. I'm not going to be able to focus on it. But I wrote Bob a letter about 7 or 8 years ago, and he wrote me back, and he gave me a little fan club card. He's passed away since. But this is one of my favorite. It's because I've got the blur on. But anyway, this is one of my favorite possessions. I'm an enormous fan of Bob and Ray, and you can find their stuff on YouTube. And even though it's like a million years old radio show, a lot of it is still very, very fresh and funny, and that's my recommendation.
That's very
perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, we're at the part of the show where Alex sends me an outro, sight unseen. I have to read it and take any direction that he wants to give me.
Yeah. So in honor of Rob's Instagram and YouTube series of like, will I like this old movie? I decided to do it in the voice of like a classic actor of that era. So I want you to read this as your best James Stewart.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like it's not
it's not going to be good, but it's going to be.
No one ever accused you of that, so that's fine.
Well, gosh, it looks like we've come to the end of our little talk. I hate to be the one to say it, but the clock on the mantle says it's time to move on. I truly, sincerely appreciate Rob and Darren taking the time out of their day to join us for our little game. Thank you both. I don't know where I'm going with this one. It's falling apart. Sometimes they get better. This one's getting worse. It may be silly to some, but I think it's important to find some of these joys every time.
You're adding words now, guys.
I know. After all, it really is a wonderful life. Yeah, I saw that coming up, and I knew it was going to get me. Be sure to follow Deep Cuts anywhere podcasts are sold. Until next time, Harvey and I will be. Until next time, Harvey and I will be waiting. Take care. Thanks, everyone. See you next week. I started talking like